Hello students, welcome to biology class. Today we are going to discuss about the second type of respiration, that is anaerobic respiration. Earlier I told you regarding aerobic respiration, which uses oxygen and there is complete breakdown of glucose to liberate energy. But when we talk about anaerobic respiration, this is the type of respiration which do not use oxygen or which do not require oxygen to get completed. And also in this type of respiration, there is incomplete breakdown of glucose and the energy produced is very less. So you can see here beta, it is breakdown of respiratory substrate without using oxygen. So as I told you, this respiratory substrate is glucose. So it is the breakdown of glucose without using oxygen. It means there is no use of air or no use of oxygen in completion of this reaction. It takes place without the involvement of the oxygen. Then it occurs in cytoplasm only. So you know beta, cytoplasm, it is a jelly-like substance which is present inside the cell, and this anaerobic respiration, it takes place in cytoplasm only, whereas when I told you regarding aerobic respiration, it takes place in cytoplasm as well as it takes place in mitochondria. But in anaerobic respiration, you have to remember that it takes place only in the cytoplasm, and this cytoplasm is what? It is the jelly-like substance which is present inside the cell, okay, and in which there is all the metabolic activities or all the metabolic reactions are going on, okay. Then it has two components beta, glycolysis and reduction of pyruvic acid produced during glycolysis. Okay, now it has two components. Anaerobic respiration is having two components. One is the glycolysis, okay, and second is beta is the breakdown of pyruvic acid which is formed during the process of glycolysis, okay. So during the process of glycolysis, pyruvic acid is formed, and second is this pyruvic acid is further broken down, okay. Next is it occurs in many bacteria, yeast and some other microorganisms. So anaerobic respiration, it is most common in many bacteria and it is common in a fungus which is known as yeast. And you have to remember that yeast is the exceptional fungus which is unicellular. Otherwise all the fungus, they are multicellular. Their body is made up of many cells. But yeast, it is unicellular fungus, okay, in which the anaerobic respiration takes place. And there are some other microorganisms also in which there is process of anaerobic respiration. Now, when we talk about yeast, in yeast what happens beta? There is formation of ethyl alcohol, okay. The glucose, it is directly, okay, broken down into ethyl alcohol along with the liberation of carbon dioxide, okay. And in human muscles also there is anaerobic respiration. Sometimes in human muscles there is anaerobic respiration, okay, and during that time there is production of lactic acid, and this production of lactic acid, it causes pain in the muscles of the athlete which forces them to stop doing their activities, okay. This is because the cells, they do not get the proper amount of oxygen, okay. So yeast, in yeast you have to remember there is production of ethyl alcohol, and in human muscles there is production of lactic acid, and this lactic acid only causes pain in the muscles of the athletes. Now as I told you, in yeast there is process of anaerobic respiration, and in case of yeast there is production of ethyl alcohol, as compared to that in human muscles there is production of lactic acid. Now you can see in yeast cell what is happening beta, this glucose, it undergoes glycolysis and it forms pyruvic acid. Now along with the formation of this pyruvic acid, there is release of 2 molecules of ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, that is energy. 2 ATP molecules are produced. Okay. Now in the second step you can see this pyruvic acid, it gets converted into ethyl alcohol along with the liberation of carbon dioxide gas. Okay. So whenever there is anaerobic respiration in case of yeast, there is liberation of carbon dioxide, okay, along with the production of ethyl alcohol. Now what we have to remember here, in case of this anaerobic respiration, you can see, as I told, there is production of very less amount of energy. So you can see here only 2 ATP molecules are generated here per molecule of glucose. So 2 ATP molecules are produced per glucose molecule. So this is the anaerobic respiration in yeast.